Guys, I love boxing. I feel that I need to make that clear every now and again because every time I speak about boxing, I do nothing but dismiss it, disrespect it, and point out all of its faults. But I love it. The only reason I take the time to disrespect it or have a passion about it or to dissect it and point out its faults is because I care. I've only mentioned that to you because I feel maybe there's been a period of time between me complimenting boxing and making it clear that I really like boxing and I greatly respect the boxers that do it. From the hard work they put in, seeing them in the gyms, the dedication, starting at a young age. Boxing is one of those sports, if you're going to be any good at it, you have to do it every day. My every day is Monday through Friday, but without days off. A lot of competitions on Saturday, but the sports that you have to be really good at, you have to start at a young age and you have to put a lot of time in. And then boxing also, that will extend to the trainers and the coaches. They don't get anything to do it. I mean, think about how little the 12-year-old boxer is going to make. Zero. Not even allowed. It's going to be an expense. They're going to have to raise some money to buy the shoes and have the entry fees and these things. But then think of the coaches. I mean, just to keep the doors open, they have to get grants from the city and communities and do fundraisers. So it's a very kind coach. It's a very kind gym owner that as much as the athlete is putting in 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, how many classes are there? Right? The gym's only so big. There's only so many bags. Gyms open 7, 8, 9 hours, 10 hours a day. Coach has to be there for all of them. So, I mean, I offer that for you because I really do have a tremendous respect for the people involved and everything that it takes to make the industry of boxing move forward. I'm predicting for you right now the disaster that we're going to see moving forward in boxing. Okay. There used to be a time in life where having a very good fighter amongst you was important. It could mean loss of life if you didn't have somebody within your tribe or village that knew how to fight. It could cost you land. There was some very big things where fighting is how they were going to resolve it over the course of time. Of course, we are not there anymore. So a promoter at some point comes out and goes, okay, we don't really have anything to fight over, at least not historically the way we used to have to fight for things. So I'm going to put something out there called a belt. Let's see how this does. And along the way, out came some trophies and out came some medals and out came some plaques and some guys, it was a ring. But in our sport of combat, it became a symbolic material item known as a belt. And it worked. The guy who came up with that from a marketing standpoint, it worked. I dedicated a portion of my life to go and win a material item known as a belt that if I had, I could never wear. I could never use it. I would just have it and be in possession of it. It would have brought me great pride. So I understand it. I'm complimenting the belt. But we're now seeing boxing in a place where those belts are so make-believe and fake. There is no competitive architecture in boxing. It is a very rare time over the history of time that we actually know who the best boxer was at any given time. Sure, you could say Floyd Mayweather would be a great example where that was a legitimate world champion. Nobody on earth could beat that guy, which is what is supposed to be the meaning of a world championship. There's not very many other boxers you could say that about. Whether they didn't stick around long enough or they ducked and dodged or nobody got them into the right matches or they used a competitive architecture against the system to deny guys their rightful opportunity. Lennox Lewis comes to mind on that. Lennox Lewis is the same age and was alive and competed at the same time as Mike Tyson. Mike would not fight him. Had they fought, in theory at least, Mike Tyson never would have been the champion. Evander Holyfield has used that same argument against Mike to say we're not of different generations. Matter of fact, Mike, I'm 2 years older than you. We are not of different weight classes. I'm a heavyweight now. Evander, who made an Olympic team and medaled at the Olympics, Mike tried for the Olympic team, didn't make it, didn't get a medal. Mike was great. I am not putting Mike down. Hear me through on this. What I'm offering for you is proof that if Lennox is right, and he only had one time to prove whether he was or wasn't, and he destroyed Mike Tyson. Evander Holyfield, if he was right, and he had 2 times to prove it, and he destroyed Mike Tyson both times. If those guys are right, then Mike Tyson was never the world champion. World champion is to say that you are the best on earth at your given craft, because boxing is such a bunch of crap and so poorly done with no architecture in place. You can put whoever you believe is going to be the biggest star, the biggest draw on top of the bill and then protect him and keep him there. I'm not complaining. I'm sharing with you why boxing is such a mess. But boxing is also run by guys who are not very bright. And my prediction for you as of right now and moving forward to the foreseeable future, which will probably be 12 to 18 months, and then all of those guys will be broke, is that they're going to learn one of two things from this weekend. One, they're going to think a Legends League is real and that this is a good idea. Many of you may be with them in thinking that a Legends League is real and a very good idea. Great. To get a promoter's license, guys, fill out 2 forms, sign the bottom of the second one, and put down $100. If a Legends League is a good idea, by all means, go down and get a license and start doing it. It's not a good idea, and you won't go and do that. But somebody will. And that somebody is a fool. You can take everything that we enjoyed this weekend, everything that was fun, everything that was nostalgic, everything that was somewhat inspiring of seeing Mike and Roy go out there and do that and knowing their stories and what they've been through, and they somehow got into shape, did their business on the scale, and went out and completed the time limit. But if I was to just ask you real simply, okay, great, we're going to do a Legends League. We all agree that we love the Legends. The Legends worked. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, they worked great. They did. Legends is a great idea. Okay, tell me 10 Legends. Oh, sure, I'll come up with 10 Legends. Here they are. Okay, great. Is there any one of those Legends that you want to see fight another legend if one of the Legends is not named Mike Tyson? Do you see the difference? Whatever they did in business, and God bless Roy, I consider Roy Jones a friend of mine. In all fairness, if Roy didn't show up, they do the same amount of business. Exact. They do the same amount of buys. They get the same amount of headlines. They do just as many pay-per-views. For sure. If Mike Tyson does not show up, none of the statements that I just said are true. None, not even close, including your interest or mine. Or mine. Roy's never stopped fighting. Mike had even brought that up and said, man, I've been out 15 years. This guy had his last fight in 2017, but that's true. And the only reason Roy didn't fight in 18 or 19 is nobody offered him a fight. Roy's willing to fight. Good for Roy. But the reality is, Roy did not matter in that equation at all, and neither does any other legend if you bring them in, and he is opposite of Mike Tyson. And anybody that doesn't understand that lesson is going to be missing out. And I assure you, it's going to be many people, and many people are going to lose money doing this silliness. Then you have the other side of the coin, which is Logan Paul. Now, I'm not a hater of Paul. I'm the opposite. I've been very impressed with Paul. I've been impressed with his dedication, his hard work. I've been impressed with how he markets himself and the attention that he brings in. But the people who are going to either resist that aren't going to understand we can't afford anything we're seeing here without a star like Paul. Or they're going to go the opposite route and think, okay, Paul did all of this. He's a star. Let's get a bunch of YouTubers together and have them box. But you're going to see one of these two things. Instead of seeing somebody stand back at 40,000 square feet, observe what happened, and then break down why it worked. Break down all of the great things that worked. There was some real positives that came out of that fight, starting with the fact that we didn't have to see any 12-round matches. 12 rounds of boxing is painful to have to watch. 10 rounds of boxing is painful to watch. 8 rounds of boxing is painful to watch unless you make the rounds 2 minutes apiece. Then you can actually get away with something here where you don't bore your audience. And I fear that as many as excitements and good news as should have come out from Saturday. First off, on how to produce and display a boxing event. That promoter did such a great job. That black and white contrast fading into darkness. I mean, he did such a great job. The ramps, the screens. You don't need a 4-man announce team. You don't need Sugar Ray Leonard or anybody else that can't share an opinion. But in all fairness, we should have learned a lot of very positive things, and we should be supporting what Logan Paul is doing, what Jake Paul is doing, which is to bring attention of the sport. Some of the biggest boxing events for a period of time is at least in terms of being able to do it consistently, having a business that's sustainable. that you can do one might, repeat the exact same steps, and repeat it. Everybody's goal to business should be that, by the way. It should not be to have some idea. And then I'm going to find funding for it. And then I'm just going to hope it all works. You want to find something that you can then just duplicate, just like chocolate chip cookies, and they come out basically the same every time. Something that you can repeat. If you don't have something repeatable, you don't have something sustainable. It doesn't sustain, you don't have a business. Celebrity boxing. And you guys know what I'm talking about. And no, I could not tell you a major celebrity boxing event, and you couldn't tell me one either, but we know what it is and we used to watch it. And you brought in these celebrities that had some type of a dispute, and at the end of the night, we're going to have resolution to said dispute. Fade to black, roll the credits, and come back 2 months later. It's one of these things that work. So we understand that Paul, who is a celebrity, who is chasing a very tough guy dream, whether he gets there or not, he is at least pursuing it, and he's working hard to do it. But if you come away and identify that Paul was the success of the night because he's a celebrity, therefore we need a whole bunch of celebrities, you're missing the point. The same as you would be if you looked at the top of the bill, which was Mike and Roy, and you go, okay, we need a bunch of legends to come in. That was the answer, and this is why it worked. No. Wrong. On the celebrity fashion, yeah, you're going to have some run there. That's been done over time. Celebrity boxing being a great example. That's been done over time where if you bring people in that people know about and you put them into boxing, which is a sport that everybody understands because there's only 2 hands and there's only 4 strikes that are even legal, cross jab, hook, and an uppercut. I mean, right? Everybody can figure this out and understand it. You could turn the TV on in the background while you're doing 10 other things and still know what's going on, casually viewing it. That idea is just going to work. You cannot be paying out the purses that you're paying out to get some of these guys to fight who don't want to fight. That's where the ugly side gets. You want to make sure that this stays a volunteer army. Who is offering to do this? Who wants to prove that they're good at something? By the way, if we find a financial reward for you, okay, great. But that needs to be second and third on the list. It needs to start with who wants to be out there. I believe that Paul has showed us that he wants to be out there. I believe that. I could be a sucker on this, but he called 3 guys out, and he met all of them. Those same 3 guys are now calling him out, which means, 1, they're not overly impressed with the skills, but 2, they can see that people are stopping what they're doing to watch this guy, and if they're going to fight him, they might as well do it now because he's getting better. That's how he should have interpreted the 3 guys that he called out that said nothing, that are now calling him out after the fact. That's how he should have interpreted that, as a compliment. They watched your previous fight. They watched this fight. They saw that you got better, and they're realizing the time to get you is now. And by the way, they might get some attention and a couple of bucks in the process. It was a big compliment to Paul, whether he interpreted it that way or not. Let's go back to the legends. Legends doesn't work in this sport or in any other sport unless you have the right story. And the story of boxing as it pertains to Mike Tyson is a story that's very fascinating. It's very, very interesting. And it just never ceases to go away. He did an interview after the fact that said he's doing it for humanitarian reasons. I haven't the foggiest idea what it is, and if I asked Mike to spell humanitarian, he is not going to quite get us from A to Z. He then came out after the fact to let the world know that he was high prior to the fight. I don't know what that is. That's disappointing to me. I understand he is no longer a kid, and kids are no longer looking to him if they ever were, but that still disappoints me. If you're a drug addict, I just feel that you should do it the way the kids that were drug addicts when I was growing up. Keep it to yourself. Be ashamed of it and do it behind the barn privately. We can go around on this pot thing, guys. I don't know where you guys stand, but I will tell you this, and I'll make this statement too. You can tell me all the good that it does for your ankle or your clarity or your anxiety. If I tell you, great, I have something that will do all of those things, but it doesn't make you high, you stop arguing. So it's not a matter of using. He's a drug addict, and he went into the ring high, and he disclosed that to the audience after the fact. And it was disappointing, and it was bizarre. As a man of courage who showed tremendous courage, show the courage to simply say, I like to get high. Be a man about it.